Okay, so when we look at psychopathy and the definition here by Robert Hare, and remember Hare is the person who's constructed the measure, does the training for people across the globe in using the measure of psychopathy, and is now investigating treatment option for psychopathy. Obviously the go-to source, Hare and Wong. Let's move on, and I want to talk well, I'm going to let someone else do the talking here for a minute. What we see here, this is a video, another video, a bunch of segments that are on YouTube. And this is about the Iceman, Richard Klinsky. And Richard Klinsky, I think, committed probably his first murder when he was age 14. Murdered another teenager. He was an animal torturer and killer, and just killed people with the slightest provocation. At some point, after really kind of stacking up the bodies, the mafia got wind of his predilection for killing and thought, maybe this is someone we should employ. Since he likes to kill people, maybe we can use him as a hitman in the mob, and that's eventually where he got to. We don't know how many people he killed, but let's take this as a part 3 of the segment. What we see here right now at the opening here, this is Park Dietz, who is a criminal investigative analysis, a profiler, right, who had the opportunity to do these interviews with Klinsky in prison. Klinsky is life in prison at this point in time. And let's listen to Dietz and Klinsky. Interesting interviews, because Dietz is a very good interviewer and has a lot of experience with serial killers, if you will. And so he's very skilled at this. And then Klinsky is a relatively intelligent guy and very glib and speaks well of himself, context notwithstanding. So I think this one runs about 8-9 minutes. I don't know, but let's go ahead and watch this one.
The Iceman had killed by gun, by knife, by Molotov cocktail and cyanide. But he also liked to experiment.
Crossbow, I just popped the guy in the forehead with it. Actually, it was just seeing if it would work.
What was he doing at the time?
Looking at me?
Well, was he sitting down, or were you standing over him? Or?
No, he actually bent down and looked in the car window like I was asking him directions. I didn't know the man.
Was this a contract murder, or was it something out of anger, or was it a personal thing?
Neither.
What was it?
I just wanted to see if this thing would work.
You mean you're experimenting on somebody?
Right.
Did it work?
It sure did. I went halfway into his end.
Klinsky was always looking for new ways to get away with murder. In the 80s, a man who was nicknamed Mr. Softy teamed up with Klinsky. This harmless-looking ice cream vendor was in reality an Army-trained demolitions expert who was a violent and vicious killer.
Mr. Softy was an individual by the name of Robert Prongay. He used to operate a Mr. Softy truck. That's why he got the name Mr. Softy. He became friendly with Klinsky, very friendly with him. And it is our opinion that friendship led to Richard Klinsky learning a lot about killing with different types of chemicals, including cyanide.
He taught me a lot. basically. But he was extremely crazy. But he would read all kinds of books on destruction and all kinds of ways to destroy somebody. He used to go around this Mr. Softy truck. That's how he used to spot people and get the outlay of the land, you know, where they were and easy ways. And sometimes he'd do it right from the truck.
And he sold ice cream?
Yes, he did. Sold Mr. Softy. He had one of those Mr. Softy trucks. Did you ever see them? That's what he sold.
And he sold ice cream to little kids in the neighborhood?
Yes, he did. And that's what he did. He'd go into these neighborhoods and sell ice cream to the kids and maybe kill one of their fathers.
On August 9th, 1984, Mr. Softy was found dead, hanging out of the driver's side seat in his Mr. Softy ice cream truck. He had been killed by multiple gunshot wounds to the head.
I think Klinsky killed him because he used him for his information, he used him for his knowledge. He probably brought him with him on certain jobs that he did. And it was time for the boss to make the decision that he didn't want any more loose ends. He may have said something the wrong way to Richie. Who knows? Whatever it was, Klinsky, in my opinion, made the decision to kill him.
After Prongay's murder, Klinsky was hired for a dangerous contract no one else would touch. It was here in a crowded discotheque that the cyanide killing techniques learned from Mr. Softy paid off.
Couldn't get to this person. He was in a disco. So I was really in a bad way because there was a time schedule involved. And I happened to be watching these people, and there was a couple of gay people dancing and whatever, and nobody was paying them no money whatsoever. They were walking anywhere, going anywhere, because people basically don't look at gay people. But the idea came to me, yeah, try to gay, but how the hell am I going to get by? A 300-pound gay man. I mean, you know, that's a little bit far-fetched. So I went to the extreme of far-fetched. I got this loudest costume you'd ever want to see on. I mean, I went full-blown gay person. Of course, maybe now the gay people are going to be pissed off at me, but I'm not saying anything bad about them. But I got this canary yellow sweater and these bright pants, and I got these elevated shoes, which I'm told to be good. Now I got these pink shoes on, and I acted like a full-blown gay person. I mean, and I got on this thing, and I'm doing this like dancing bit, and I get onto this thing, and they get these lights, and I hate those lights, by the way, those strobe lights. Man, I hate those lights. You can't see good with them lights, and it messes up my eyes. So anyway, I'm trying to get close to this guy. So I'm doing this crazy thing. I'm acting real swishy. I guess that's what you would call it. And I get up close to this guy, and I bump into him. But everybody's bumping into everybody. And he had a heart attack. Because I had hypothermia, you know. When I bumped into him, I popped him with the needle.
What was in the needle?
In his case, a heart attack.
There was no doubt that Richard Klinsky was a stone-cold killer, and most people thought that's why he was called the Iceman. But law enforcement had another reason for pinning this name on him. They called him the Iceman because, to confuse the time of death, he would take his victims and put them in a freezer for long periods of time. One such victim was a man named Louis Masgay.
He did too good a job on this body. After leaving the body in a freezer for over 2 years, he then took the body out and dumped it where it was found before it had thawed out. So when the medical examiner does the autopsy and opens the body up, he finds ice inside the body on a warm summer's day. The medical examiner says, there's something wrong here. This guy couldn't have died in the past few days.
And so it is with Klinsky. This is a multi-part series video, so you might want to check it out. It's fascinating, the extent to which Klinsky learned to kill. He's killed from a motorcycle using a sawed-off shotgun. You see he's injected people. He's hung people, shot people. Just about any way you can imagine killing someone, Klinsky has. And when he's asked to estimate the number of killings, it can be upwards of maybe 100 to 200 killings. He doesn't have a count, and he said maybe 200 in an interview with Dietz. But you can see just the amazing kind of glibness, you know, and the calm that he exudes in doing his killing. Evil? Well, I mean, he was killing for pleasure for an awful long time, and killing simply to enjoy the killing. So you again can be the judge on this one. So what do we know about psychopaths is they often view the world differently than we do. I talk about this in Psycho-Emotion. We have a psychopath and emotion module that deals with this in some depth. But just a glimpse at this. When non-psychopaths process negative emotion words in an fMRI machine, like rape, death, cancer, activity in the limbic regions of the brain increased. So for us controls, when we hear these negative words, then we show activation in certain areas of the brain. For psychopaths, there was little or no increased activity in the regions where controls showed the gain in activity. But curiously, there was an increased activity in other areas. So in short, the emotion word doesn't have the same limbic implications for psychopaths that it does for normal people. That is, this information is being processed differently. We get back to this issue, the big debate, is psychopathy genetic or is it learned or some combination thereof? And the problem with brain studies is, you know, learning changes the configuration of the brain. So we could say, well, you know, this is evidence that he learned it, but no, it could be also born with different brain structures, so to speak, or a brain that processes information differently. So there's no clear-cut kind of answer to that question. Right? So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about sexually violent predators in the next part. So I'm going to pause here. Just because it's logical to do so, and then we'll move on. We'll come back for part 3.